Good morning. My name is Dr. George Mochocki, and we made it through week one. I will normally every week on this online course give you a 5 to 10 minute quick overview. 5 minutes how you did as a virtual classroom last week, and 5 minutes what you should be looking forward to improve on your grade going forward for this week. So last week, this course here usually caps at 25. We have 20 students in online class. 15 are very active, and you're doing very well in your forums. Some are more active than others. Some signed in a little bit later. Some are really used to what to do the forum. Remember, the forums or the discussion board replace the lecture within the classroom. So you're required. Last week you signed in, you could see what everyone else said, and you had a very good discussion. I'm very proud of it. Some of you, your grades were a little bit lower. I was very gentle last week on how I graded you, because you're not used to it. But here's what I expect. I expect you to reply to my post by Monday midnight, and usually just a question. So you should already start be reading Sunday the next two chapters, and that's you can find that within the syllabi. What will be required? Read it so you could, because my questions are usually very point blank, very centered towards the subject matter that I think is we should discuss as a class. I'm not going to go too much into lecturing what you've read and utilizes the Learn Smart Connect homework assignment, and plus you have my full lectures online, and there's always a link to that. I'm using this like I utilize within a face-to-face class is to discuss the topics. I want you to see the topic, internalize it through your reading, and how I would be able to apply that within a business scenario, whether you're owning a business, whether you're working for someone, whether you're suggesting something to your present operation or your department. So this is how we learn about business, hands-on, reading to get the resources and actually doing. Okay, so I'll do that on the forum. I also want to make sure some of you have not done your Learn Smart Connect homework from last week. I think the due date is by Sunday. Your Learn Smarts are always going to be ended by by Saturday midnight. I've given you the first week a little an extra day because you had to get the book, get the access code and everything else. Remember, from the orientation, how do I access Learn Smart assignments? By going through the Learn Smart homework assignment here. Just so you know, I'm in the student mode, so this way it's not too confusing. So I can actually see, this is what you see as a student when you log in. Okay, so if you notice, I'm in student preview. There's some things I can't do. I can't. Cause I'm like a pretend student just to see the software, but I can't actually do all the work. But this is easier for you, so you could see. I see what you see. Okay, so remember, you Learn Smart homework. You click on this tab. I always have everything set up for it, and here are all your homework. Look at the due dates. Your week 2 is starting, so you already have next week. You only have one chapter 1 to do by Sunday. I think today is the 21st, so Saturday by Sunday. Make sure you complete that. Otherwise, it's lost. In business, the whole thing in business is to make the service date. How you succeed, whether you're working for someone or with your customers, if you promise that customer or that entity or your boss or even your peers, I will give you something on this date, you have to make it. Once you lose your credibility, you lose your customers' trust, and that's when they'll leave your business for your competitors. Okay, so you have that. Now, we're all our homework, and some of you who have come in a little later, all your homework is out here. Right now, week 1 will be turned off by Monday. I'll give some people a little time to catch up, so you won't be able to do the forums, any kind of quizzes or anything else. You'll still be able to do your Learn Smart for the next week, okay? So that's going to be turned off. And remember, you're to update your profile. So many of you did very well on your update profile. I could see the face, and I have got, when you look at still on the week 1, or if you look at my lectures, you go under, I think on the bottom, it'll show you how to update your profile. It's a 7-minute video, and then you'll be able to see your face up here. You don't see my face here because I'm in the student preview. I'm not a student. You'll see me as the instructor. Okay? So now, what do we have for week 2? Are we okay? Make sure you do the Learn Smart. Make sure you always keep up. Log in when you're doing your discussion board. You respond to my question by Monday midnight. You will not see any other students responding, and you say, I'm waiting for somebody else to respond, and then I'll respond to see how what I should say. The reason I do it like that, because now these are graded forms. By a graded form, you should be able to do your own work and your research. I don't want you to be tarnished or influenced by somebody else. As a business thing, I want to know what's going on out there, but I still want to have my own idea, my own creativity. How do I respond to it? So, because what I found out from, I've been teaching online for a while. For those of you who read my bio, I've been teaching for 25 years, online, offline, different platforms, also here at another college. So what's happening is, what I found out, I've got my A students, they'll do the work, they'll post it, and somebody else will post it. And now I'm my, not so A student, but I'm very creative in how to get out of work. So I'll read everyone else's posting, and I'll take a little bit of here, take a little bit of here. I don't have to do no work. And then I'll post it, and I'll say, hey, that sounds good. I like this. That sounds good. And I put in my own words, and I put it back in there. That is not fair. So what happens, you do your first posting, you do your research. After you post, you do your first posting, then you see what your classmates posted. Now you'll look at them and you'll read their postings. Oh man, that makes sense. And you're responsible. I think we might end up like about 15 students. So I'm looking at, I'll drop down to about 6 to 9 posts, not all on one day. So you not counting mine. So you'll respond to some other students. Hey, I like that. I don't think so. Or you'll say, hey, I read your post and we have some similarities, but where could we work together, or where do we disagree? And I remember in the forums, I don't want pages when you're reading a forum. I want a couple paragraphs. When you do your paper, then that's full pages. Remember, the forums is like a casual conversation, but at a professional, at a business level. This also helps you improve on your writing skills. Virtual, other than on a Twitter or Facebook, you only have real quick points. Here you have to at least write full sentences, and try to start using your concepts and vocabulary for your words, and you're building on it. So the next couple of chapters, okay, so let's go into week 2. All right, so we have the form. I want you to understand that. So you won't see anybody else's posts, you post them, and then you respond, and start thinking if you're working in a team, you're working in a network. How do I help somebody else out? One thing about team networking is a lot of times I'll help other people out, give them some comment. They may not respond to me. That's fine, because they may not have no information. Remember, in the forum, you are responsible to respond to 2 or 3 other students within the forum. I'm looking for 6 to 9 different replies. And if you reply to one, somebody didn't reply, try to enhance him or her to reply to you. That's what you do in business. How do I get a customer that's kind of wavering to walk into my shop or to use my service or my product? How do I get an employee to talk to me as a manager or a leader? Those are the skill sets we're trying to develop here, whether you're in a virtual classroom like this or you're in a face-to-face classroom. So what do we have for week 2? Week 2, you're going to have a discussion. Now, I'm going to start working with the discussion to build you to working as a team before we start working on your product. I want you to start thinking, part of your major paper, and you'll have in here, it says feasibility or information, and this I'll change it to say paper requirements and a PowerPoint requirement, for your final paper. So look in there, see what's required, and then I'll have a whole, remember, you'll have time, within a couple of weeks, you're going to come up with a product, you're going to come up with a business, either you're buying a business or you come up with a new idea. I don't really care, because what's going to happen is the following chapters, when we're going to talk about marketing, when we're going to talk about pricing, when we're going to talk about how much it's going to cost for your product. We're going to talk about where we're going to distribute your product. Now I'm going to say I'm going to open up a hot dog stand. I don't care what business, as long as it's a legal business in the state of Illinois. I want to open up a hot dog stand, and you have to tell me where you're going to open up the hot dog stand. I'm going to open up a hot dog stand in Grays Lake. But I'm thinking Grace Lake. I got Sammy's. I got all these other hot dogs. Maybe I want to go to Round Lake. There may not be as many hot dogs there because my research says too many hot dog stands there. I got too much competition. Where is there an area where there's still customers but not as much competition? So then when you're looking at that, when you're doing the research, you're doing very specific in that location. Not I want to open up hot dogs and all people are going to come to me. Who are your customers? Who you does. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. So, but right now, we're just going to get you into the forums. Remember, I'm developing you so you learn how to interact with others in a virtual setting. No different than this class is a virtual classroom. In business, I got two aspects of my business, all business. I have the face-to-face or brick and mortar, and my other aspect of my business is my, for lack of better words, is my virtual e-commerce, okay? So you're going to click on here. Now, these are all folders, because otherwise I'll have everything out there, but some students don't forget to scroll. They only see two things. I think that's all you have to do. So when you see a folder, you click on the folder, on the top here, and now here's your forum. So it's going to be, you're going to have two forums. It's going to have a forum, and it's going to ask you a question after reviewing the links. And I'll show you where the links are at. Why or why not respond to the customer? I have two links that's within this week, and so now you're going to go in there and you're going to click on here. It says this form is unavailable. Okay, it's unavailable because I have it set up to open up. I think because I wanted you to work on your homework, so it'll be open up when you get to it after you look at the you see this video of my recording. The forum will be open. When you click on that, the first time it's going to have the question that's going to be required for the forum, and it's going to ask you something about your business. It's going to ask you you're going to select a country. I don't care any country. You know what I mean? A country you're not familiar with. So let's say I'm Polish and I want to find out. And most of my customers coming in are from South Korea. So I'm going to pick South Korea, and I'm going to click on those two sites, or you can find something else on your own site. What's something unique about South Koreans that I may not know as an American business person? How do I sell to South Koreans? How do they buy from me? What should I know? What could I put on there? Could I put on the South Korean flag? Would that be offensive? Now, if I'm doing Middle Eastern, they may not want like a Saudi Arabia flag out there. Well, you know what I mean? So you're going to find out something about that, and you're going to post in the subject area, I selected South Korea, or I selected China. I selected the U.S. because I'm coming in here. I'm not from the U.S. Whatever. And now you're going to try to find out something about how I deal with them. First of all, you can find out something about how you deal with them in business, or find out what's the difference between cultures. Because the whole thing about dealing with another culture, a lot of times I could say something that may upset that culture, but I'm not aware of it. You know what I mean? I may wear a green, and in another culture, green may be an unlucky color. So in that culture, they may say, oh, it's an omen. I shouldn't use that. Okay, do you see where I'm coming from? So you'll pick a link, find out about a country, you'll post it, and you'll write a couple of paragraphs, what you found out, as a culture as a whole, what you found out that's similar to America, or whatever, and you'll post that. And then other students, when after you do your posting, you see what other students posted, and then you say, hey, I also posted South Korea. What did he or she say? And you compare. Or I never thought about that. And then you reply. Or you may say, I am South Korean. What they said, remember, I'm not stereotyping. We're generalizing. Okay? So that'll take care of that. Okay, so you do your form. So let's go back into our weekly homework assignment. Okay, so I click on here. All right, so I've got my video clips. I've got my Learn Smart. Make sure you do the 2 Learn Smart. You'll also have chapters on Chapter 2, Economics, and that's kind of good. When you're looking at the other country, not only look at the culture, look at the economic conditions of that country. Is it economic? Is the company, is it expanding? Or is it, let's say I want to invest in Venezuela. Venezuela has a lot of things. They have inflation way up here. They've got people shortages. They have so much restrictions on that. And it may not be at this time to invest in them. Or I may say I'm going to invest in them, but I don't want their currency. I would rather have, dollars or a barter. So that's something you have to think about. So you can say I'm going to hold back, or I may not hold back. Remember. So utilize these 2 chapters within your posting, looking at a country you selected that you may want to do business with, or they want to do business with you. Okay, so we have that weekly assignment, and I'll make sure. See, it's kind of nice when I came up here because the two links ain't showing up. I will put the two links in here, so you don't have to worry about it when you come in and you click on the link and you pick a country and you'll be all right. Okay, so that's it for this week. Make sure you do your Learn Smart. Don't forget you got two Learn Smart. When you click on the link Learn Smart, what I did here is just a link to the Learn Smart here. All right. Some people I try to do one-stop shopping for everything on you, and you should be all right. Again, I'll see you in the forum. Remember, you won't see other students posting till you post to my questions first, and the forum will be open by midnight tonight. And then you should be all right. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to this class. And you're going to enjoy this class. This class is not that hard. Once you learn to do your Learn Smart, you can do them in advance. I've got those all already all preloaded. But look at the service date. Once you miss those service dates, you lose that. And remember, last week we had that short quiz for those of you who haven't done it yet. And the quiz points, you have 5 extra points. You know, it was an easy quiz. So when we do your exams, you know what I mean, be online, and they'll cover 4 or 5 chapters. I think like 30 questions or whatever. And you have more than enough time to do those exams online. You'll do well. Okay. So again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to this class. And I'll see you in the forum. And I enjoyed reading your forums. Remember, the forums help other students if you know something. And as we start going more and more in the forums, you see me being less active. I'm still read all your posts. Like you would get your email. I read all your posts. I may not respond to everyone, but I'm always in there. You know I'm alive because I'll start throwing in comments. And a lot of times in your posts, you'll post something in your subject area. You'll see a question. You'll see Dr. George. That means I looked at that post and said, hey, this is interesting post, and to try to stimulate other people within your forums. So I will take and I'll ask a question specific that you responded to, or I want you to respond to it, and I'll go Dr. George up in your subject area. I kind of like take it over just a little bit. Other students, will you see the Dr. George, try to respond because this is something important. Remember, the forums are no different than we would be doing the face-to-face lecture. Okay, now see you in the forums a little bit next week. And you're all doing well.